inspired a lot.
It's so weird to have this opinion.
If you say it publicly, you're blaming your teammate.
They can't take it, but there was like legit nothing.
I was gaslit into thinking Annie is like super OP.
Bro, we had like 100% win rate with Annie.
He thinks any PR is good PR, I guess?
It's nice position to be in, I kinda like it. Some people don't like it. I don't care.
Not a good look.
Game one was not my fault. Game one was just Jensen's fault. I think he just played like vegan. I played mediocre fights after. I think my teammates like Jensen played kind of bad in the team fights.
I mean, there's definitely a difference. Because like, if you say it publicly, you're blaming your teammate. I mean, I thought it sounded a bit delusional when he was blaming me for that entire series.
Like, from my perspective, I just felt like he could have done more. I didn't even review the game when I said it. I just like straight up went from the final and thought maybe he could have done more. But then after reviewing, I saw like he missed some opportunities. I think I missed a lot of opportunities. I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that hard.
Sometimes like you see him a lot using TP or like even running top to roam. It's usually coming from me and Bwipo calling him to do that because we try to tell him that mid lane is not just like 1v1 lane. You can actually impact the game and make the game so much easier for everyone else to play. And I think it's just completely new style for him because before it was just he's just playing in an A, just blast hitting minions and whatever happens, happens.
I mean, I feel like usually Inspired is like kind of the CEO of the team.
Yeah.
The guy that like makes the decisions. Maybe the reason I got kicked too, who knows?
There's no real beef behind the scenes at FlyQuest. There's just some honest feedback.
I don't think so.
I mean, we had like fighting a little bit, like when he's actually not pushing advantages.
Wait, we're not going back. Now we're gonna cut you. Thank you so much, boys.
Oh, yo, Jensen, good to see you.
Good luck making worlds now.
The moment we've been waiting for.
Yes, sir!
All year, really. Dignitas versus FlyQuest. You saw a lot of the history there, snippets, really, of some larger talk between the two. There was also the fact that Dig became really likable about a week ago.
Yeah.
With Dig season, but really just an exciting matchup here on a Friday.
I don't think they're already really likable. Like this team, they're a bunch of veterans. They have a kind of chip on, like every single one of them has a reason to have a chip on their shoulder, if not against FlyQuest, against some other LCS team. So they've just been really fun. Vibes are good.
Like, we said this yesterday, it's the Vindictive X angle. Like, this was heavily focused on Jensen, but it's not just him. Like, you go down the lineup, Spica, who I guess got benched twice, not just from the, like, when he was starting, but also when he was coming in as a streamer. That we got a Spica fan out there too. We have a lot of Spica fans, not just him. Licorice, I would say, is like his lowest moment in the LCS was when he was with FlyQuest. So there's a bunch, if you go down the line, where there is that chip on the shoulder you talked about.
Yeah, and I know it's just regular season, and they told you it's just a regular season game, but this is still really hype.
Absolutely. Let's pull up the predictions, actually, to get to our next point. I think one of the biggest loss story here with Dig and FlyQuest is how good FlyQuest actually has been and still can be. I think Quad has looked a little shaky in his stage games, but has been very good in scrims. You never know if it's going to translate completely, but I do think with a newer player to the LCS that it's going to be an improvement week over week. I'm actually not surprised in these predictions at all, with Discord being slanted towards Dignitas. And then I just decided to go all in on FlyQuest because I have a weird feeling about this.
Yeah, I like it. I think it goes to 3. I love the fact that we're showing the Discord votes because that just showcases the fandom. The fans right now heavily, we've shown it in the polls yesterday, the community just like through the week coming into today is definitely behind Dignitas. The scrims on the other hand, not so much.
Are behind FlyQuest.
Yes.
Yeah, by a significant margin.
Yes, by quite a lot.
Emily knows this because she caught up with both coaches ahead of the series. Check it out.
Hello, I am joined by Dignitas coach Maybury and FlyQuest coach Nukeduck before kind of a pretty hyped match for a regular season matchup. How are you two feeling going in? Nukeduck, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think, you know, we have a good shot. I hope the guys doesn't become too nervous because, like, you know, the external pressure. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, feeling good.
Is there actually external pressure from kind of all the hype that's been going around?
Well, I haven't talked about it with them, but I assume some of them maybe not. I mean, it is a hyped match, so I'm sure it impacts them a little bit, but it's not like we're talking about that internally or anything like that.
And then Maybury, for you, obviously you've brought it up, but your players have brought it up even more, the scrim record. How did scrims go this week, and what were the pressures like for Dig going into this match?
How are scrims going for us this week? Well, Yesterday we went 3-3 for Shopify, so that was a bonus for us. Usually we end up on 2-4 or worse. Pressure for the match, I mean, for us it's just another regular season game. I know there's a lot of pressure externally and that match is pretty hyped, but like between us, like we never really thought about it like that, so yeah.
What is how are you going to beat FlyQuest?
How are we going to beat FlyQuest? I think if we go into like the mid game even or ahead, we're more confident in our macro. They're really good at playing 4v5 with inspired farming camps, so as long as we're in control, I think we'll be fine.
How are you going to beat Dignitas?
Yeah, we're just gonna do a normal thing. Maybe we target Jensen a bit. That's probably, you know, like we know how he plays and what he likes to play, so, you know, maybe we'll target Jensen a little bit. Yeah.
All right, well, best of luck to both of you. Thank you for taking time to catch up. Really hype season match, FlyQuest Dig on the other side of this.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for some more LCS action here as we are about to kick off a very high-energy match. We got Dignitas, we got FlyQuest. We've been having a lot of trash getting talked about this head-to-head, and we got APA joining us here for the Tricast for game number 1. This one's going to be a ton of fun. APA, I got to ask you right off the top, who do you think is going to walk away with this one?
To be honest, I think it's going to be a close series, but I think FlyQuest does have the edge. I think they're going to take the series 2-1.
Okay, 2-1. I like that. He's got a 3-game prediction already, Azael. I know I always want 3 games out of these hype matchups. Yeah. I always want to see it go the distance. I'm ready for this one.
This one is going to be really exciting. Honestly, this is one of the regular season's games that I've been looking forward to so much.
It's super
and
hyped,
it feels like it kind of feels like old school League where it was these teams that actually have a little bit of heat, a little bit of fire between them. When you think back to like the CLG TSM rivalries where there's a little bit of hate going on, it kind of feels like that with Jensen and Inspired. It kind of feels like that with some of these players. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see if that actually shows in the game plan. Because you're a guy who I think, you know, sometimes we'll be watching these games and I'm like, I think you're getting in their head. I think, you know, they're sending 4 or 5 bots to try to kill AP in the side lane and griefing the game, right? And it can change how people play. So do you think that could come into play here a bit where, you know, maybe Jensen is really trying to prove that, hey, he's a bit better mid laner than Quad and trying to push a little bit further than he would, or maybe Inspired and Bwipo are trying to punish Jensen a little bit more than would be Inspired?
I mean, I know if I was Jensen in this situation, I'd be feeling pretty robbed. Like, I feel like Jensen's a better player than Quad, so I don't know why he was replaced. But then if I'm Jensen going into this FlyQuest series, I'd be doing my best just to mess with Inspired, you know, like take a little small raptor from him, ward his camps, like taunt him as much as possible, just do anything to make him angry.
Yeah, it should be fun. It also makes it kind of spicy, you know, who's going to get counter pick potentially in mid lane, you know, if Jensen wants to play for a specific matchup, or if it's just going to be kind of business as usual. There was a lot of talk about, you know, Quad maybe being more aggressive and maybe fitting the playstyle better with what Inspired wanted to do. But yeah, and then when I was looking at a lot of his play in NACL and looking at some of his best games, looking at his, you know, career most played champions, it's very similar to Jensen. So like, is there anything behind the scenes maybe in scrims and stuff that's showing that, or do you think they're pretty similar players?
I mean, in scrims, Quad is definitely a better player, but to be honest with you, Jensen kind of runs down scrims. So I don't know how much that has to take into account, but on stage, Quad was not that aggressive of a player. The only time he was aggressive was when he was running it down into me and just dying. So, yeah, I mean, personally, I'm on Team Jensen.
All right.
Jensen's in the right.
I like that. I like that. I'm ready to see exactly how this draft is going to shape up here. We're immediately starting it off with the Karthus and the Ashe banned out by Dig. FlyQuest paying their top lane taxes on red side, banning out the Skarner. Also going to ban out that Rumble. Those top 2 S-tier top laners not going to be allowed in this game, as Dignitas also removes the Senna, and therefore all of the combos that you might play with those farming supports alongside her.
Inspired has been playing a lot of these AP-style junglers, 2 Karthus games, 2 Zyra games, as well as a Nidalee game. The only AD jungler he has played is that 1 game of Kindred. So it has been really heavily focused on this farming style. You know, in the kind of head-to-head little trash talk interview that they did with Jat, Inspired and Jensen. Jensen was calling Inspired the CEO of full clear. So definitely this kind of style that he likes to play. And honestly, it's the kind of style that's really strong right now.
If you look at the bans on the draft, all the 80 mid laners are up. You know, the Tristana, the Corki, even some of the Lucian, the Ezreal that you've seen a little bit of last series. So like if I'm FlyQuest here, I'm just probably taking 80 mid, like I said, the Corki, and then either looking for one of the AP junglers that Inspired's comfortable with. Karthus.
Which side of that kind of classic mid lane matchup do you prefer, Tristana Corki? Because we're seeing so much of it these days.
I'm a bigger fan of Tristana, but I feel comfortable that I can win both sides, so I'll take either.
what gives Tristana the edge for you specifically?
I think I'm just really comfortable in the champion. Like, I'm kind of new to Corki, to be honest, but like Tristana I've played for years at this point. I'm just super comfortable on her.
Okay, makes sense. Well, we've got that Corki locked in for FlyQuest, like you already mentioned. Kalista going to be the second pick. And yeah, I feel like Tristana Corki handshake, that's just the way League of Legends
It's
play.
the new Azir Corki.
Yeah, it's Tristana replaced old Azir, and so that's what we're likely going to end up having here. Dignitas also going for that Leona first pick of the draft. How do you feel about that being the big priority here for them?
Well, I think Leona is definitely one of the strongest supports, if not, I mean, apparently to dig the strongest support. So it's no surprise. And then the mid lane matchup is just gonna be a handshake. So like to me, there's no point in first picking one. I can see it. I think Leona's quite a strong champion. I'm always telling Core, like if Leona's up Core, like it's a Leona game.
Well, and a lot of the tenacity, you know, kind of that has been taken out of the game, I feel like has made Leona so much stronger. That is one of the things that I think is really making it so powerful right now. It's going to be interesting to see how Jensen actually plays on the Tristana as well. It's not, you know, AD mids are not something that you really associate with Jensen. Obviously, he's played a lot of Corki back with the old Corki throughout his career, but only has 7 games in his entire career of Tristana. You played more than that in like a week, so...
Probably in the entirety of MSI, I was probably playing more than that.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it will be interesting to see how Jensen performs. You know, he is really someone who is known, obviously, for the control mages. He doesn't have many illusion games. He doesn't have many Tristana games. There's like a handful of those in his entire career, and he's been playing for like 10 years.
And I like that for FlyQuest in terms of why they would prioritize the Corki over the Tristana in that handshake. Just saying, okay, if you're probably more familiar with one of these, we're going to make you play the other one. And so we're also going to get the brand locked in for Dignitas over here. Again, we already saw a couple of those AP junglers get banned out in the first half of the draft, so they want to make sure they get their option locked in before more bans come through. Taliyah picked up for FlyQuest, and now we're going to see Varus and Nautilus banned away.
Yeah, so we have double AP junglers once again. Taliyah obviously really popular in solo queue. What is your take on the strength of Taliyah as a jungler right now, and how much setup do you think is actually required for the champion to be successful? Because right now we're seeing Corki, we're seeing Kalista.
Like, not much setup on the FlyQuest side. I think setup is nice, but it's not necessarily needed. Like, I think, to me, Karthus and Zyra are like the 2 premier AP junglers, and then Taliyah is just like a step below, similar to Brand. So I think it's just, you know, Dignitas removed 1, FlyQuest removed 1, Dignitas took 1, so they're taking like probably the 4th best AP jungler, but she's still very strong. She clears very, very fast with the new 900 gold item.
Faded Ashes.
Yeah, Faded Ashes.
Yep.
I still think she's quite strong.
Can you buy Faded Ashes? Yes, you're a good jungler.
And
congratulations.
What I'm curious to see here for Dignitas is what ADC they actually take. Because Varus Leona, or Varus eXyu are both banned from FlyQuest side. So I'm curious to see what ADC you want to pair with the Leona bot lane into Kalista.
Yeah, I mean, Ashe's banned, Senna's banned, you know, the Kalista's taken away. There's so many bans already. Of course, it is going to be Dignitas targeting supports for Busio, banning away a lot of those engaged supports that would be those kind of traditional pairings alongside the Kalista.
2 of Kalista's favorite bowling balls down there in that bottom lane duo with the Alistar and the Nautilus. Loves to be able to toss those into the mix of everything. But FlyQuest, for their 4th pick, they'll lock in the Renekton for Bwipo up there in the top side. The evergreen staple of top lane, pro play, League of Legends.
Ooh,
but what's the answer going to be here from Dig?
I actually really like this Poppy pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a really strong Poppy pick. It's great into Kalista. It's also a good matchup in the 1v1 against Renekton. And I think Licorice is a really strong Poppy player. So I think it's a super smart pick here.
Yeah, no, I agree. Every time you see this guy in solo queue on the Poppy pick, he's always just like 200 armor, 200 MR, just like the tankiest person in the world, engaging for you, doing everything. So I'm a fan of his Poppy. I'm happy to see him picked. Like I said, I'm still curious to see what AC they picked. Kai'Sa, Leona, it's okay matchup. I'm just curious to see how they can end up faring out in the lane, because the Kalista lane should be very troublesome for them.
Well, especially if they go Renata. I feel like Renata is such a strong pairing with the Kalista, and does make it pretty difficult for a lot of the dive champions.
I would potentially keep my eyes out for even a lane swap, because we got the tank top lane, we got a rough bot lane matchup. Maybe Dignitas ends up looking for an early swap coming in.
All right, I'm going to ask both you guys, but AP, I'm going to come to you first. We're seeing all 10 champions now. Which one of these drafts would you rather be playing right now? Would you rather be piloting the Tristana or the Corki here?
I would probably rather be the Tristana. I think the game for Tristana to carry is much easier than the game for Corki to carry.
Isaac, what about you? Which one of these?
I think the drafts are pretty close, honestly. Like, I do think both teams got some pretty strong stuff. You know, I think the junglers are pretty similar, the mid laners are pretty similar. I give the edge in bot to FlyQuest in their draft. I give the edge to Dignitas in top. Both teams have pretty good playmaking, so maybe slightly favoring Dig, just because I think Poppy is such a strong pick into both the Kalista and the Renekton, and has that additional playmaking, kind of when compared to that Renekton. But I think it's going to be close, and I'm really excited for this first game.
I'm so ready, man. FlyQuest versus Dignitas, the trash talk leading up to it, the events of the rosters that played out between the spring split and now. This one should hopefully be really interesting because these are both two squads that people have varying degrees of expectations for here in the summer split. APA, I'm sure you know, most people have you guys ranked up at the top. Dignitas and FlyQuest all over the middle, depending on whoever's tier list that you look at, right? Obviously, you said that you're favoring FlyQuest overall in this matchup, right?
Yeah.
But I still feel like it might be able to go either way.
It'll be very close.
Yeah, this could still be Dig season.
Yeah, I don't think it's one-sided. It could be Dig season.
Okay.
You could be looking at TreeQuest or whatever their slogan is now. Yeah. Personally, what I'm excited for is to keep an eye on the all chat, because I know some of these players are not against all chatting.
We have nice to meet you so far. So nothing too vicious going down in the all chat. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially if it starts getting spicy, you know, between maybe Jensen and Inspired. If there's any all chatting going on there, would be exciting. But so far, just some Jensen. Pleasantries in the chat.
Saying good luck.
Very polite. You gotta make sure that you lull them into a false sense of security. That
They're
way
nice people right now.
Yeah, exactly, right? Everybody's just coming out here shaking hands.
Or you slam them with the vicious trash talk.
Once that scoreboard doesn't have zeros up at the top, that's when you can start typing a little bit more. But doesn't look like we're going to get anything super interesting here at level 1. Maybe a potential delayed
invade.
Looks like
Dignitas potentially looking for a lane swap.
Okay.
That's what I was keeping my eye out from the draft alone, and then, it just looks like they're opting into it.
Yeah, I mean, Kai'Sa Leona sounds absolutely miserable.
The lane first few levels, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The first couple levels, you definitely need to get something going. It's going to be nice because they're also going to have Poppy with this leash. Poppy Q obviously very good on the Raptors. Brand starts W, going to be clearing this out really, really fast. And Poppy's just going to walk along with him and be able to get this clear going very, very quickly. Where on the other side, Inspired obviously has no leash, so his first camp is going to go a lot more slowly. So we'll see what Spica can actually get done on this first clear, and if he can maybe cross back down towards bot side and get some extra
coming
camps.
up into the red buff, seeing potentially what he can do. I don't know if he knows.
Now he knows. So now he's going to probably try to go into vertical jungling, but we'll see if Spica is ahead enough that he can actually maybe go down and cross over to his red after this or something along those lines.
Depending on how
this
mid lane prowl goes, it's actually quite hard for Inspired to get into the red side jungle. I guess you do have massive bot gap, but even just the Raptor invade can be a little bit tricky with Jensen.
Yeah, absolutely. So just going to have to keep our eyes on Spica and see where he wants to go. He is pinging that he's going over towards Wolves. There's question mark things kind of over on Raptors. They don't have exact info on where Inspired is, but they do have a ward over by their own Raptors. So if Inspired walks in through that area, they would have known, but it did now Inspire.
Licorice living the top lane dream here in the lane swap.
0 CS, 0 CS, yes.
Hanging out in the brush.
The top lane matchup of kings.
He's still having a better time than Bwipo, though.
He leashed, so it's top gap.
He at least had a slightly more entertaining side quest to participate in.
There you go. He just got some EXP. The EXP advantage over Bwipo is crazy right now.
Loving life up here.
1 CS as well. He's on the board, baby.
Wow.
All right.
That's more than top laners usually get.
This is top gap.
Yeah, this is crazy top gap.
Bwipo needs to take some notes.
You can see it right there on the scoreboard. Plus 14 gold from that caster minion. That's
They canceled their recalls. Bwipo knows that they're there. I wonder if he's going to walk up and try to just make them cancel again. Would be pretty risky to do so. So it is just going to be completed recalls.
Yep.
Bwipo now gets to walk back. He's going to be able to get a lot of this XP and we'll be able to pick up a fair bit of farm here. It looks like there's about 6 minions there for him to pick up. So the top gap is going to go the other way now.
Yeah, while we are watching that top lane play though, mid lane has become very spicy. You can see both mid laners are under half HP. So I'm curious to see if Jensen either chooses to take a reset or if, says he's better and tries a 1-for-1 trade against Quad.
Yeah, meanwhile, Inspired securing that bottom side Scuttle Crab for FlyQuest, pathing back up into his own jungle now. Jensen has this lane pushed up in mid, but it's not like Inspired has any sort of an opportunity to make a play on him here. As you can see, Spica clearing out the top side Scuttle himself now on the brand. Both these guys at about the same pace, but Spica's going to go for the invade here yet again, recognizing that Jensen has control over mid. He has the push there. Spica wants to be able to contest, at least for the big chicken, And it looks like that one will be stolen away. Nicely done there from the Dignitas jungler.
That's big. On the second Raptor respawn, that's always like a big priority from when you do lane swaps. And for Spica to be able to end up getting the big one, I don't know how many small wins he got, but I think he got at least one. It's pretty big for him.
Yeah, so far though, it is FlyQuest with a slight gold lead, about 500 across the board. They do have those little edges in every single role right now, and of course Massu, as well as Busio, they got the 2-blade spot, so they have a decent little advantage for themselves, but Zven and Isles I think are going to be pretty happy with how this game is going, being able to actually get through, as the Zenith Blade going to whiff. Spica's behind them though.
They know about Spica.
They don't know.
It does not appear so. Busio and Massu going to have to be careful about this one. Spica makes his entry. Massu and Busio, they aren't afraid about this at all. Spica now having to flash away as the re-engage comes out from Isles, but now he has to flash too. 3v2. These boys are losing it. Dignitas is getting styled. And FlyQuest make them look silly.
Man, that was really well played. Busio just charged straight back towards the brand, forced him to use abilities on him, then stayed in the wave. So even though he got the E, he could never actually hit him with the C or the Q to get the stun. And then once you've spent the spell there, there's no way to actually fight back.
At the start, you see Leona missed her Zenith Blade, so it's so hard for them to engage. And if Brand has no setup, how does he do damage? You know, like you said, it's so hard to land this Q onto Busio when he plays in the wave.
Exactly, just playing right in the wave. They got the early chunk as well, so they try to step forward. Spica's forced out. Isles goes back in, but Cleanse was always available, so this is just really good stuff here from FlyQuest, even with the lane swap, avoiding the early levels. Massu and Busio playing very confident.
Yeah, very, very well played by them. This is also massive for the jungle.
The coaches are loving it. Maybe Dignitas should have avoided a couple more levels here in the bottom lane because that was not ideal. FlyQuest up over 1,000 gold now as Busio's coming around mid lane. Jensen going to try to get away from this one. The handshake.
So close.
Forcing the flash out from Jensen even after he uses the rocket jump to make his initial escape.
Still not the biggest thing, but I think the bigger thing is just that since Spica used one of his turns bot side, he's now down 2 camps and then Inspire's getting free grubs. So he's potentially down 3 camps or even more if they can invade topside.
Yeah, that is really big. And Licorice, you know, is going to take his first base now on topside. He will have to TP back and catch this wave. Bwipo, of course, does still have his TP, but Dignitas at the very least will take 1 grub away, which is actually quite big. You get a lot of bonus XP on that first grub, and of course it is, you know, denying any potential 6 grub take or anything like that.
Essentially, they look for a 3rd Raptor invade of the game.
Well, also very close to level 6 here for Inspired on the Taliyah. Big playmaking potential once that ultimate comes online, as Busio just going to encounter Zven there a little bit as they make their way back towards the bottom lane. Jensen still has his ultimate to be able to escape if FlyQuest tries to make another move onto him. Dead even farm here in the mid lane. That Tristana Corki handshake is just going blow for blow so far.
I think this is actually when the Corki matchup starts to become a little bit more favorable for him.
With the tier 2 boost.
Once he gets tier 2 shoes and some levels in his Q, you can actually start to like win the trades like you can see here.
So talk to me a little bit about the Tabby Rush. Obviously, this is becoming really popular. We're seeing even Merchhead's Rush. Obviously, it's strong for the 1v1, but, you know, do you think, you know, it is worth the trade-off of having that later one-item power spike? You know, do you think it's just so important to have Prio in that 1v1?
I think it's definitely situational, but when the lane is so close like this, the Tabbies will end up just winning you now. And now, every time Quad can take like a Q chunk, he'll always going to win these small trades out, like you can see here. Like just, you can keep poking and poking and poking, and if you end up sniping him with a big rocket or a Q, he's going to just get such a big HP advantage where Tristana can't even win the 1v1 anymore.
So when you're playing it from the Tristana side, though, now that Tabbies are actually completed, what should Jensen be looking to do, knowing he's going to lose some of these trades? Are you just trying to mostly avoid trading, focus on pushing the wave, farm it out, and wait until you have that Kraken spike when Corki's not going to have an item completed?
You don't have to like fully wait it out, but you definitely lose. If you have some like finesse to the fights and you can dodge his Q, you can dodge his ulti, you can definitely win. But you're just not doing a whole lot of damage because you just, like he just has Tabbies. It's not a whole lot you can do into that.
Up top side, let's check in on how things are going with the Renekton versus Poppy matchup. You guys were both applauding Licorice on the Poppy, recognizing the fact that this guy is one of the experienced Poppy players here in the LCS. Things are pretty stock standard up there right now, but the 1v1 back in mid lane, Jensen's in danger. Has to use that buster shot to keep Quad away. The power of that Corki, so threatening right now.
Yeah, that got a little bit risky. It looked like Jensen was just focusing on trying to push in that wave, wanted to kill off the last cannon, and Quad is hitting him, exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah, this matchup around, especially like level 7 with this power spike from Corki, it can get super dicey, so once you see Tristana starting losing those matchups, you start to panic a little bit. You know, he's already lost TP, he's lost Flash to Busio coming mid, so you're like, you're not in the best spot, and then you can't really get help. So he just needs any avenue out. So he has to waste the ultimate, which kind of blows, but it's not the biggest thing in the world.
So if you're Dignitas, you know, put yourself in the shoes of Jensen, as we may see a kill here. Zven getting low. They could threaten a dive, but we'll be okay for now. You know, how are you thinking about actually playing back into this game? Because obviously you are starting to bleed out in this game. Your bot lane is very far behind. You don't have a ton of playmaking on the Tristana. Are you just trying to slow it down and play through sides, or what would be the plan?
I mean, to be honest, there's really not much you can do until you get the Kraken Slayer. Once you get the Kraken Slayer, you can start to become very aggressive and like take extended trades versus Corki, and with the ramp up of Kraken Slayer, you can just straight up 1v1 kill him. But right now it's looking just a bit rough. The bot lane's looking rough. Mid lane's, you know, just in a bad spot for the matchup itself. But yeah, everyone else is just in a stalemate. Like the top lane counter pick, even though you do have counter pick, you're just even in CS.
Yeah, I mean, this whole game has basically just been about that 2v3 bot, right? You win into the lane swap, so you're opting into giving up 2 plates guaranteed to them. Then you lose the 2v3. All of a sudden, the matchup becomes unplayable. You're stuck under your tower. You're not going to be able to even fight back. No matter what engage Isles finds, you're going to lose it. So it's really tough to play from that spot.
It's a 3,500 gold lead, not even 11 minutes into the game, and you can see the gray hourglass there in the grub pit for that second set of those that's about to be ready to spawn now, and it's perfectly synced up with taking out that tier 1 turret in the bottom lane from FlyQuest's side. So now they can bring up that powerhouse Kalista and Renata. You've got the first item fully completed now on the Kalista there with the opportunity, and Dignitas is going to try to at least take something here, but FlyQuest are making their way over. First grub belongs to Dig.
Scared. This fight is so scary. Kalista's the only person in the map with the item, so she's so strong coming into this fight. Great Taliyah wall.
Inspired blocks everybody off, forces the flash over the wall from Spica, and it looks like Licorice is the sacrifice. FlyQuest are going to pick up a kill. They're going to have control over the topside river. They're going to get these last 2 grubs.
Honestly, that wall from Inspired was just insane. It trapped like 4 people in that little corner there, and just either forces them to die like Licorice did, or like use your flash out.
Yeah, that was a really nice angle on the wall. They clearly just wanted to try to get 1 grub, and so they did get the 1 grub. They tried to get out, but they weren't able to do so in time because of Inspired coming in. And they just know they can't fight anything, and this gold lead is just going to get worse and worse. You know, basically the entire gold lead is almost in bot lane. That's 2.7k of the 3.8. So anywhere Massu is, you don't want to fight, right?
And you know, look at this wall. Such an insane angle, traps 3 people. I think Spica ends up flashing out. Jensen either jumps out, I believe, and then Licorice ends up getting caught by the handshake and just, you know, sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, Jensen waiting on the rocket jump just to make sure that he doesn't get caught by any CC. Lets that hostile takeover get out of the way first. But man, it is rough right now for Dignitas. Total gold on the left side of your screen. Massu so far out in front of everybody else, man. This Kalista is a problem for Dignitas.
And once you win lane this hard, this early into the game, you can now just swap into the top lane and you can start doing the same thing top lane. Like, you're so far ahead, you can just start beating on this top lane turret, which I'm sure you're going to see within the next minute.
So how do we stop this, boys? If you're wearing Dignitas jerseys right now, what are we doing?
We're going late.
Well, I did talk about when Tristana does get Kraken, so I think this is when the matchup can start to shift a little bit in favor of the Tristana side. So I think now she can start to get prowl, potentially even fight very aggressively because she does have the item advantage over the Corki. But the bot lane matchup is looking quite tough right now. I don't know if there's any salvaging that.
No, I don't think there is. I mean, I think you're having to look towards playmaking in 5v5s, right? Anytime you're playing against a Renata, single target burst is not really going to do it in generally. So I think you're relying on the brand, and you're also relying on things like the Poppy ult. If you can eject someone out of the fight, if you can hit a Massu or a Quad or an Inspired out of the fight, you can maybe take it with an odd-numbered matchup there.
Ooh, nice handshake again there from Busio. Been hitting these really reliably so far on the Renata, causing so many problems for Dignitas down in the bottom lane, and now even making his passes up through mid. And you can see all the control that FlyQuest currently has over that topside river with all the vision they've been able to establish.
And they end up just putting Massu out in the mid lane and then Quad's going top lane. So I think for pretty much the next few minutes, they're just going to have guaranteed mid prowl up here.
And a flash from the Dignitas top laner as well. Licorice having to escape as Inspired once again being so threatening here on the Taliyah with that Blackfire torch already completed. This dude is scary. Everybody on FlyQuest is pretty scary right now for Dig. It is a threatening game state. Massu just continuing to push up in mid lane here. The damage on these spears, man, with the lethality build on Kalista, it hurts so bad.
Yeah. even Bwipo, who's been having like a relatively quiet game, nothing happening top lane, he's already at his 1-9 power spike to Licorice's just components, so even he is a scary force to reckon with right now.
And it looks like Inspired is not going to be challenged whatsoever here for the second Drake. So FlyQuest, they've got 4 grubs to 2, 2 kills to nothing, 1 turret to nothing, and they're up the first 2 Drakes as well. Pretty much everything in these first 14.5 minutes of gameplay has gone their way, and it seems like they came into this game with a plan, and it's paying off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just really has been all about the bot lane so far for FlyQuest. You know, they created that massive advantage. That's going to get them pretty much every objective because no one can fight as long as Massu is there. So Dig is going to have to kind of choose their moment. It is also going to be Hextech Dragon, which is really unfortunate when you lose the early ones. You're kind of hoping that maybe it's like going to be a Chemtech Soul or something that's a little bit less desirable. But Hextech going to make that even worse. So Dignitas are going to have to decide, do they actually want to try to wait and challenge at the 4th dragon and risk a potential soul off a flip, or are you going to try to challenge actually at this next dragon to prevent them from getting to soul point? Because FlyQuest are just going to keep snowballing objectives.
Even before the dragon spawn, like FlyQuest just has so much control wherever Inspired and Busio end up walking. Like they were bot side, they have so much control bot side, now they're top side, they're just taking Rift Tower, they take Dragon. Like it becomes a point, when do they start to let, or when does Dignitas start to play?
Honestly, I think that would be a pretty kick-ass feature if we could have spectator all chat.
We do actually have spectator all chat.
Do I get fined if I type?
But we're not going to do it.
All right. Maybe in the future. Maybe we
can get you in there for a show match or something.
Maybe we save that for playoffs, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, cook a little bit later on. But we do have the Rift Herald also going to be picked up there by FlyQuest. You can see the golden outlines alongside that Herald, alongside those turrets. Dignitas is so far behind, they already have objective bounties if they can manage to find anything. But there's just nothing on the Rift that FlyQuest is allowing them to get even close to. You can see Jensen forced out of this top side matchup. As soon as he runs into quad in the river, the Corki's having none of it.
I mean, you can just look at the vision, right? Like, you look at the vision on the map, and it's just all going to be on their side of the map. They only have defensive vision.
They're just suffocated in.
They're completely suffocated. It's so hard to go anywhere on the map because you know any sort of even fight, like even numbers fight, you lose, and you don't know where anyone is. They've got no info, and it makes it so difficult from this position. You have to, at the very least, be able to defend your own jungle camps to try to, keep that gold income coming, or you're going to bleed out.
And I like the fact that you're talking about even numbered fights because you're also up against Taliyah, who can instantly change even a fair fight to an unfair one. As Jensen's jumping in after Quad, but Quad's ready to fire right on back. Busio making his way up through the tri-brush, looking for the dive. Jensen gets away as the teleports are coming in for both sides, but Jensen's going to die on the back end anyway. Meanwhile, you got Azael going in after Massu. Shut down back over to Leona as Licorice is in a 1v2. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get himself away from this one, and they cut him down. Zven and Azael's on the run, but they're running into the FlyQuest jungle. Zven gets away, but Bwipo is ready and waiting. There's the barrier. I don't think that's going to do a damn thing. Ace for FlyQuest.
And that just might be the nail in the coffin for this game for Dignitas.
7K gold lead, 17 minutes in. FlyQuest slammed the door shut on Dig. Jensen TP'd back in. He had the tier 2 boots. He obviously had the Kraken for a while, and he felt like he could take Quad confidently. He jumps forward, and he just started getting blasted in that 1v1. Fell very far behind early on here. Looked like a couple canceled autos as well. And then, in this spot where you can't take the 1v1 anymore, so all you can do is run, but the flash is there to follow him. Busio is behind him. Inspired's in the area. They're skirmishing on the other side. They did get this early kill on a Massu, which maybe gives you a little bit of hope, but then you realize your soul laners are both losing.
Everyone else is so strong.
Exactly.
And I think the terrible thing about this fight for Dig is they lost quite literally, I think, every single flash in the game. I don't think any of them have flash up, so now, going into this, I mean, you can see it here. Jensen just doesn't have flash. How does he live?
I don't think he does, buddy. This is a pretty bad spot.
Here comes Inspired.
Tristana to be in. Inspired is gonna find him. Sets it up for Quad. Easy peasy for FlyQuest. This game just feels totally hopeless now for Dignitas. There's no room to move. There's no room to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in Dignitas' shoes right now, I don't know what to do. You can't win silent. You can't win team fights. You can't do anything. I just don't know what to do.
Yeah, Inspired gets first blood in the Jensen versus Inspired matchup.
Yep.
Perhaps more important than the FlyQuest versus Dignitas matchup.
There we go. One ding. One takedown on Jensen for Inspired. Honestly, man, there's still only that one kill this whole game for Dignitas. Yes, it was the kill on Massu, like you pointed out in the replay, Azael. But when the kill on the Kalista comes at the cost of your whole team,
and everyone's that ahead now, right? Like, that's the problem, is that they committed everything to trying to kill off Massu, but Quad and Inspired are just as fed at this point. You know, you're looking across the board, it's almost an entire item ahead for Inspired. Yeah, he just actually now has his tier 2 boots as well, so pretty much a full item up on Spica. Mid lane monstrously ahead as well. There's just no real area to look towards.
Quad was able to farm top lane tier 1, bot lane tier 1, I believe, or bot lane tier 2, so he just has such a massive gold advantage, even though, like, he himself has not been the one in a lot of these plays.
And there's the answer for the question that we posed earlier. Will Dignitas try to challenge for an earlier Drake, or will it all come down to the soul? Well, there was no way for them to even get to this third Drake on time. FlyQuest now at soul point, as Isles threw out the Zenith Blade there looking for Busio, but he ain't gonna find it. As Dignitas, again, just returning back to their own side of the map. They have no vision, even up in the river, man. Just that one ward in the pixel brush. Everything else just trying to defend, hold on to whatever scraps of Summoner's Rift they still have, because the map is getting smaller and smaller for them.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. I mean, I think you're at the point in the game where they know they're insanely far behind. You just overload one side of the map, pray you get a pick, pray someone is playing a little bit disrespectfully, and keep looking for these 3v1s, these 4v2s, these kind of plays.
Farm the bounties, yeah.
Exactly. That's all you can really do, is you play towards bounties, you play towards maybe overloading a side and trading for a turret, try to get the objective bounty there, and then you fight for soul, you fight for Baron, nothing else.
Oh, Quad gets jumped on, but now he can immediately just jump back away. Isles is on the front line, and he immediately falls. Quad's gonna take another kill. Dignitas now down a man, and they're about to be down another. Zven trying to escape from Inspired, but it ain't gonna work. Inspired goes on a killing spree. FlyQuest just killed 2, and Baron is next in their sights.
Yeah, they're gonna be able to take this Baron, no problem. Dignitas, they just decide, all right, there's Quad, let's send it. You know, you have to take a flip at some point.
Something at this point of the game. It's
exactly.
So far behind, like, you know, it potentially looked like a good pick. Sadly, you're just down 10,000 gold, so it didn't work out.
Yeah, 10,000 gold, and Busio decided that Mikhail's is a great item to buy when the only chance they have is making a pick with the Leona. FlyQuest pick up the Baron, absolutely no contest. 11,500 gold ahead. Spica's gonna face check into the brush. That is not where he wanted to go. He luckily gets to get away there without having to spend a
Bwipo
flash.
was just merciful.
Yeah, Bwipo's just kind of like, you know what,
he felt bad.
Yeah.
He felt bad for Spica. Didn't want to ruin his KDA that much.
It's the showed he could beat him, and then he backed up. I mean,
this is what I could do to you.
Exactly. Knowing what we know is just Isles, he probably could have easily taken him down, but he doesn't know, of course, who else is in the area, and if Kai'Sa is maybe trailing or something like that, then I think that's kind of what he was worried about. But either way, FlyQuest 11,000 gold lead. They're at Soul Point. They have Baron and Dignitas. I think they're just thinking about game number 2 after this one, where it's tough because it is a very stompy game, but at the same time, I think you do have a little bit of the cope of just saying, well, the bot lane gank went that bad, and that was kind of the game.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what Dignitas does in draft, because I'm personally not the biggest fan of Leona Kai'Sa into the Kalista matchup, especially when Busio gets R5 counterpick, and he's so good at like these counterpick supports.
Yeah. So do you think then the mistake was letting your bot lane picks fall to the second round, right? Because there were so many bans thrown towards it, or was there a specific pick you would have still preferred them go, even with everything that had been banned out?
I think it differs from team to team, but I think, like, to me, Ezreal and Varus are like 2 big components to match with the Leona once Kalista's gone, and then since you drop your ADC to 4-5, they just get banned out, and then it's like, well, now what do you do? Now you have to go Kai'Sa, but then Kai'Sa's just not that good into Kalista.
And you could see the damage up there in that top lane. Zven losing half HP to an auto attack and a rocket from Quad right now, who does have the Trinity Force, plus the Muramana fully evolved, ready to go. Zeal in inventory halfway there to the 3rd completed item. Now just have to back up a little bit, as Licorice can at least hold on to the tier 2 here in the mid lane. FlyQuest still commanding the Baron for a little bit more than 1 additional minute. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't just torpedo right down one of the lanes and break right into the base from this one.
Well, Soul does come up in a minute and 10 seconds, so if you're FlyQuest side, you can say, the instant you get Soul, it's such a broken Soul, Hextech Soul. Once you get it, you win the game, so maybe they're just playing for that.
Well, it definitely appears to be that way as FlyQuest are gathering their forces here in the bottom side river. Inspired just going to pick up the camps on the way there. Massu securing the Scuttle Crab here for the team. And with the wards being placed down, Dignitas being forced back, it looks like FlyQuest know exactly what they're going for. And what they're going for is Isles. He has to flash the seismic shove just to get away. The Weaver's wall will collapse in time for him to complete his escape, but what about Jensen? He's now the guy who's got to be careful. Isles goes in with a Zenith Blade. They've locked up Quad, but it ain't gonna matter. Isles down to 200 HP. Quad dies first. Nicely done from Dignitas, but it is gonna be a mid laner for mid laner trade, 4v4. But Zven and Isles are both at death's door. They have to try to get away from this one, but Bwipo's still chasing him. Spica wants to get out, but it ain't gonna happen. Massu gets the kill as Bwipo's flash stun set it up. Licorice, Zven, and Isles all still running. They have no way to try to contest this upcoming Drake here in about 10 seconds. Zven's still at about 100 HP, trying to get away from Bwipo. He escapes for now. They're trying to turn their attention back over to the FlyQuest top laner, but it ain't going to matter. Licorice knocks the
Send him
Croc
straight back
away.
to Zven.
Back in the face. That is all not.
And Licorice doesn't even live.
They just pass the ball on over to him. A turret kills him. I guess that's about the best thing you could hope for on Dignitas' side right now. A double kill for Inspired. A delayed ace for FlyQuest. And there's your Hex Soul.
It's an alley-oop for your top lane, bro. You know, just give him one up there to Bwipo.
Don't kill me. You can kill this guy.
At the very least, he does get the execute, but this one's pretty much all done but the crying. They're going to grab the soul as well. There's clearly no chance for Dignitas in this first game, but they are trying to find angles, trying to find windows, but it just doesn't matter. Even if you get the one kill, when you're this far behind, you have to commit so many resources to that one kill that you have no ults, you have no summoners, you have nothing left, and you're chunked, and then all of a sudden you have to deal with four other
guys who are also God.
Uh-oh. We, looks like we got even more problems. Another beautiful handshake from Busio. Uses the flash to guarantee another death for Jensen.
See, I said I thought the series was going to be close, but honestly, after watching game one, I'm not so convinced.
Yeah, this is not a good showing from Dig. FlyQuest are just stomping them 16-2. And now, with the enemy mid laner and AD carry both dead for the next 25 seconds, it should be real easy for FlyQuest to wrap up this first game.
This might be the push here.
Yeah, first inhibitor turret's already gone. Inhibitor's gonna follow. Here comes the Weaver's wall just to make defending that much more impossible. Spica again gonna be forced to flash just to try to stay alive. Bwipo gets stunned as he goes in, and he'll kill the enemy jungler right on the steps of the fountain. It's another ace for FlyQuest. It's a 19-2 game, and it ain't even close. Jensen's alive. They're still looking to make an extra statement here. They're still looking to prove their point and rub Dignitas' faces in it. FlyQuest are taking it slow and steady because they already won the race. Zven at least gets a kill on Busio, but it's 19-3, and FlyQuest absolutely stopped them.
Wow, that was a statement game. FlyQuest absolutely obliterate Dignitas. It was almost as many thousands of gold ahead as for minutes that were played in the game. Like, this was like a 20k gold lead at 27 minutes. The minions don't even spawn until a minute 30. This was a crazy game.
I think massive props, honestly, to the FlyQuest bot lane. They outplayed the 2v3 gank. They played well in the lane swap, and then just, I don't know, they ran over the game.
Yeah, Busio was everywhere. After they got that massive lead, you talked about how it felt like there was nowhere Dignitas could play on the map because anywhere Busio and Inspired were, they were unbeatable. And he really was everywhere. He had such a big effect on this game. That young bot lane for FlyQuest making such a difference in this first match.
Awesome show from FlyQuest for game number one. And a reminder, tickets are officially on sale for the LCS Championship at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles. Head over to Ticketmaster.com to claim your spot. Hell yeah, boys, we're going to be there. As we head to break, let's check in with our most recent MasterCard Player of the Week, Zven.
What's up, guys? We got MasterCard Player of the Week for Week 2. Zven here. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, bro.
God, you're back. You instantly win it in Week 2. How's it been overall?
I think this is my first Player of the Week since I play support as well. I didn't get a single Player of the Week. It's good to be back.
We're just disrespecting support players.
We really are.
Oh my God. So we're doing something different since the last few years with our Player of the Week interviews. Basically, I've got 90 seconds, rapid fire questions. You can decline them and move next if you want to, but I hope that you don't do that.
Am I getting grilled or what?
A little bit.
Okay, hit me.
So we'll see. You ready?
Yeah, hit me.
Okay, go. Messiest teammate.
Spica.
Biggest coper on the team.
Jensen.
Biggest griefer?
Jensen. And Spica. They can share that one.
Okay, they're sharing that award?
Yeah.
What has playing support taught you personally?
AD carry players are too greedy or too selfish at times.
Yeah. What annoys you the most about support players now that you've gone out of that role?
Decline. I don't know. I don't have one.
Okay. Least likely to survive on their own?
Spica.
Who's the biggest talker?
Me and Spica.
Okay. Top 3 AD carries in the league. And you can add yourself if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Me, Berserker, Yon.
Who did you learn from the most in your career? Be it like a support that you worked with or a coach?
Mithy.
Mithy. What AD carry do you watch to learn from the most? Or just out of entertainment?
Elk.
Warmog's nerf or Skarner buff? Or nerf? So which nerf would you want between Warmogs and Skarner?
Well, Skarner's getting nerfed next patch already, so Warmogs, I guess.
What champ?
I don't really care about Warmogs, honestly.
Okay, you don't. Well, okay. What champ do you int on the most?
Decline.
Where did Niels come from? That name that you had before you changed to Zven?
It was just like a joke I had with an old friend, and it just kind of stuck. I forgot to change it before the season started, and I got locked in for like a year.
Okay. You got locked in, you found a chance, all that?
Yeah.
All right, so that rounds out the questions overall. Man, like you've had, so how's it been just coming back into the league?
It's nice. The team atmosphere is really good. We lose every scrim, but the team is doing well. Like the atmosphere is really nice, like I said, and everyone's having a lot of fun. And I do think we're improving slowly, but it's like we're playing better on stage than we are in scrims, which is like it's a good thing, but also a bad thing because we can't really like scrim, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like it's not too good. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
Last question: what season is it?
The Dig season.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations. Maybe you get another player of the week in the weeks to come.
Yeah.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Smackdown money matches. That's right, Butter. You heard it, Butter. What do you want for your birthday, Billy? Butter. A Smackdown so big, we needed 2 weeks for the fight. Money Mania for weeks 4 and 5. Teams will have 2 of their series upgraded to money matches, where a cash prize will be on the line. Catch bangers like who's the best LCS affiliated team, who's the better new kid on the block, which university will reign supreme. Money Mania weeks 4 and 5. Miss it and you ain't money.